A man's personality and character is exuded through his haircut. Your image is important. Our high-end services range from a traditional haircut and shave to gray blending, beard shaping, and unwanted hair removal. Located at 425 Victoria Avenue East. Book your appointment online now at modernmen.ca or call Tammy, 306-522-4111. Modern Men, a haircut for the modern man.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
Tim Peel fired, I guess, by the National Hockey League.
How about that?
The NHL announcing this morning that he will no longer officiate games. He was supposed to retire in April. I mean, come on. So he got caught on an open mic admitting an even-up call? I'm blown away by the reaction. We've known since we started playing the game and working in the game that this happens. And furthermore, we don't even have a problem with it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It certainly is. Welcome, Canada, to your favorite sports talk show and to Canadian sports fans around the world. It feels like the Tim Peel stuff is so yesterday.
Yeah.
Moose DuPont. Although his name may come up. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Branded anybody yet?
Not yet. But though the lineup is getting long.
We do have a video coming that you may enjoy. This is the warm-up of the program, everybody. The fastest 2 hours in sports talk in Canada is right here, coming to you from the bunker in Western Canada. On the program today, a lot of hockey guys. Dave Poulin from TSN. Bruins great. Flyers great. Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, will be with us to talk Dub Hub and more hockey. And the president of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Bill Chow, as they continue to be in the news, canceling their season and obviously not going over well with a lot of folks. And Bill's going to explain what went into that decision and maybe other Junior A news, okay? But first, let's hit the quick six show topics, please. Director Jordan, who must be having a bad hair day, by the way, Director Jordan, because he's got the trucker hat snuck right down. I saw that. I caught him, he says. You caught me. These are show topics of importance to me, okay? And you're not going to believe what number one is. It's NBA trade deadline day today. Did you know that? Did you notice? Of course you knew that.
Of course.
Listen, all the talk about Kyle Lowry and everything, I understand his value and what a commodity he is. I didn't know he's the top prize available before the deadline today. That's how, I'm a fan. I'm not an expert of the NBA. So I went and you might want to know this because you mentioned that NBA is not your number one.
No, it's not.
So anyways, this is a couple paragraphs from the Canadian press. Kyle Lowry is perhaps the top potential prize on the trade market going into deadline day today, which means Wednesday's win over Denver might have been his last in a Raptors uniform. Houston's Victor Oladipo could be another big-name trade candidate along with Orlando's Aaron Gordon and New Orleans guards Lonzo Ball and J.J. Redick. And that doesn't even include San Antonio's LaMarcus Aldridge and Cleveland's Andre Drummond, players who seem destined for buyouts if their big contracts don't get moved. Today happens to be Kyle Lowry's 35th birthday, by the way, but he's telling people he's turning 30 again. Deals must be agreed to and reported to the league by 3 p.m. Eastern. It may be several more hours after that deadline before things are finalized. The NBA holds what are known as trade calls with the teams involved to ensure that all the financial matters fit within league rules, and there's often a backlog of those on trade deadline day. So anyways, does Lowry remain a Raptor past today or not? Everybody's suggesting he's going to be gone, and that brought up our poll question today. I did a little number crunching here. You weren't part of this conversation between Clark and I, producer Clark. The poll question is, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, who's the greatest Raptor of all time? Now, if I told you that I looked it up, who do you think is the all-time leader in Raptors games played and points? It shocked me.
Was it Lowry?
No.
I was going to say somebody like Chris Bosh.
No.
Okay.
And it's okay because it shocked me.
Yeah.
Nobody around here got it either. I think you got to be a hardcore Raptors aficionado to get it. It's DeMar DeRozan.
Whoa.
It's DeMar DeRozan's played the most games in Raptors history. He scored the most points. He owns just about every record in Raptors history. I voted for Vince Carter, too.
I would, too.
As did the majority on Facebook. 58% leading. Barely anybody's voted for DeMar DeRozan. Why? Because he was somewhat disgruntled and got traded away, which led to them winning a championship. And Kawhi Leonard was only there for a day, a year, and they won a championship. But I think Chris Bosh is up there in the top 5 in scoring. But I'm just saying, if they had a Raptors day in Toronto when they brought back, had your choice of either Kawhi Leonard or Chris Bosh, who's going to create the bigger splash? Who's going to have the longer lineup to get a picture with him?
Right.
Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Bosh was hurt all the time.
I know. And you start thinking about who was part of the success and put you on the map, right? And Kyle Lowry, Kawhi Leonard won a championship. DeMar DeRozan didn't, and he left before the success happened. Vince Carter put the Raptors on the map with his antics and the slam dunk competition and all of those things. So he was winning in his own way and got the team into the playoffs, but so even though there was no championship, Vince Carter still, deemed part of a successful part of Raptors history. It's interesting. Really interesting. But then the one thing, as I was reading Rachel's article that she wrote on the Raptors on rodpedersen.com, how she said that Lowry's embraced Toronto more than any of those other stars.
There you go.
So that's part of it.
How about that?
Interesting.
What are your yard markers for franchise greats? Nice one, guys. So anyways, that's point one. I'm into it. I'm not the biggest Raptors guy or NBA, but hey, I don't dislike it. Today's a big day. Point two, I teased this morning that we would announce the teams. I got a tip late last night from a hockey guy that the BC Hockey League is breaking off from Hockey Canada, forming their own association, and there are a handful of Alberta teams from the Alberta Junior Hockey League that are going to go with them. And it was huge news, ground-shaking news in Junior A. So these are the teams, I'm told, plan to leave the Alberta Junior Hockey League and go play in the BC Hockey League. They are Brooks, Okotoks, Grand Prairie, and Spruce Grove. Let me say it again. Brooks, Okotoks, Spruce Grove, and Grand Prairie. And it was a representative of one of those teams that told me, like literal horse's mouth stuff here. Now, I have a cousin that plays in that league. I'm not going to say which team. But I called his aunt this morning, and we chatted, and she goes, well, those are 4 of the best teams in the AJ. Yeah, she knows. She played hockey, does play hockey. And so here's the thing. From my read on this, because I'm more of an SJ guy, as you all know, and a Dub guy. I don't really know what's going on out in BC Hockey League, although it's always been kind of regarded that they're the best Junior A league in the country. And they're kind of tired of, they're not having it anymore. And what it was told to me is they want to rival the USHL or the NA, North American Hockey League, and this is their way of doing it. They want better competition. They feel they're losing players to those other leagues. So there's more to this. I don't expect any formal announcement from Hockey Canada nor these leagues imminently. But this is the talk. And another tip that I got was that hey, this was supposed to wait till the summer. But it's happening now. So, big news.
And that's interesting. You put it in the perspective, right? Because I think the first reaction when you see your report on Twitter last night is that it's COVID related, right? Because it's so hot on the heels of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League canceling their season that you think they're doing this so that they can play in a different way and do all these different things. But it's very interesting to see this developing and to see where this goes. The one thing to consider, I mean, they still ride the bus in those leagues, so travel is what it is. But the world's getting so much smaller, then travel's becoming easier to do. They did try and put a North American Hockey League team in Dawson Creek. When I was up there, it didn't last very long. It became cumbersome to get up there and all of those things. But I think it's tremendously interesting to follow this development.
Saying it again, Brooks, Okotoks, Spruce Grove, and Grand Prairie rumored to be leaving the Alberta Junior Hockey League and heading to the BC Hockey League. Brett Kozak writes this from the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. He's an original Manitoba guy. He says, love the hoodie, Rod. Thank you. This is team issued from the SJ. It's a bunny hug, Cozy. I just got to tell you that. It's a bunny hug. You know that. You've been here long enough. His mom went to high school with Vegas Golden Knights color man Shane Knighty. It's a hockey thing.
6 degrees.
It's a prairie thing. Prairie hockey thing. Okay, moving on to Wednesday's NHL leftovers. A few things. These aren't your dad's Jets. They are not the good but not good enough Winnipeg Jets anymore. They're great, and they are in the conversation to come out of the Canadian division and move on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. These aren't your dad's Jets, okay?
How about that?
Mm-hmm. But, sadly, these aren't your Calgary Flames, your dad's Calgary Flames either. My dad's Flames from that era were ass kickers, right? Joel Otto, Mike Vernon, Lanny McDonald. Not this bunch. How many now have they lost against Ottawa this year? Is it 4 of 6, 5 of 7? They just can't get out of their own way. It's the worst team in the division. The Flames can't beat them. I understand the whole some teams have your number thing, but come on, guys. I'm not going to bang on them any more than that. But when, you know what this tells you is you change the head coach and the problems remain. These aren't minor tweaks in your game that are needed. These are deep, deep problems that the Calgary Flames have. Frankly, I think a lot of us feel we know what they are. Moving on. Is it time to blow up the Vancouver Canucks? I saw Canucks Twitter last night. They feel that it is, Darren. And what is blowing it up? It's trading off your big pieces and starting over again. I'm not saying it's time. I'm asking, is it time? What do you think?
I don't know.
It's not your team, right?
It's not my team, so it becomes really tough. But you know what? If you're not great, you need to be great. And in all sports right now, we are in this world of if you're not upper tier one, you don't really have a shot. I mean, you do have a shot, but it's rare that we see teams now really going on a crazy run and shocking people. So, you know what? It's probably time to blow it up.
I think so. I guess, you know what? Let's see how the season ends, right?
Yeah.
And maybe if there's some trade value here, the trade deadline's coming up in a few weeks, maybe you sell off those pieces and it is time. Do you start firing coaches and GMs in Vancouver? Listen, you are where you are. You can't compete with the Winnipeg Jets or the Oilers or these teams that are handing you your lunch. It's terrible, but here's where we are. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the Flames of the mid to late 80s, nothing but a memory from long ago. Nothing has been as good since. Ask yourself what's gone on since. What's the common denominator with the Calgary Flames since? And there you might find your answer. And it's very hard to clean up a bad culture. If it was easy, every team would do it. The Edmonton Oilers seem to have cracked that. It's looking that way. Brought in a solid GM, Ken Holland, brought in a no-nonsense coach in Dave Tippett. And that's not to say Todd McClellan was a nonsense coach or Ralph Kruger or Pat Quinn or Dallas Eakins. You know what I mean? But what they're doing in Edmonton seems to straighten the ship there. Calgary has not figured that out yet, and maybe they will under Dale, maybe they won't. But again, I think we know what the problem is there. Ali Hicks writes in, says, hello to everyone from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Why not? The home of Sam Steele. Bulls Club's watching. George on YouTube says, Uncle Chevy's Go Jets Go. He says, these are Uncle Chevy's Jets. When does Kevin Cheveldayoff start getting more credit for the job he's done there? And I'm sorry, I went on a Winnipeg show the other day. No, it was here that I called him Ken Cheveldayoff. That's his brother. Big time Sass Party MLA.
Doesn't hate the pub.
No, but no, he loved it. I talked to Ken Cheveldayoff. He's like, I don't mix us up all you want. And if they mix up our paychecks from time to time, that would be great too. That was from Ken Cheveldayoff. What else? Oh, I said Ryan Miller, feel shame. Did you see him try and play the dump in last night and got it by him? And the Wild scored the game winner. In mini is the Wild's, I think, 6th straight win at home. And the other one, I'll just say this, firing a ref for doing nothing wrong is not integrity. And I might have not have worded that properly, and God knows I went on this long enough. We all did yesterday. But for the NHL to say we have to let Tim Peel go because we need to preserve the integrity of the game, covering up the fact that makeup calls are part of the way the game is played and officiated, just covering it up, that's not integrity. So the only way that you're going to fix this is go into the game and the way it's officiated and change the way it's been officiated for 100-plus games. But to turn your back, no, that doesn't happen. But it does. That's not integrity. So, and by the way, Bob McKenzie saying, whom I love, obviously, he's been on this show, NHL not firing him. No, they're not firing Tim Peel. He's just not going to ref any more games. He's going to continue to be paid, and he's going to get his pension. But no, he's not fired. Come on, you guys. How stupid do you think we are? You're going to suspend him until he's retiring. My God. And I don't know if you saw the panel with Duthie and who did he have on? Noodles? No, Mike Johnston. Mike Johnston said if this wasn't a guy that was a month away from retiring, they wouldn't have fired him. That's Mike Johnston. So a lot of people think this was a knee-jerk reaction. I'm spending more time on this than I wanted. But,
easy way out.
But is it that easy? Yeah. It's the short-term easy way out.
Exactly.
Long-term, I think it's created a bigger problem for the National Hockey League. A few more. Moving on. Our fourth Quick Six show topic. Dub Hub stuff. Last night in the Western Hockey League Hub Center here in the Sweatpants capital, Brandon spanked the Moose Jaw Warriors 8-2. The Broncos, Swift Current, I thought was going to upset your Blades, but they didn't.
Nope.
It went to overtime, and Tristan Robbins scored the winner. I'm just going to point that out. Blades won 6-5 in overtime. They remain the top team out here. And Everett blanked Tri-City 3-0. And Dustin Wolf, maybe he's the savior the Calgary Flames need, Dustin Wolf.
It's looking that way.
3 straight shutouts to open the season for Dustin Wolf, goaltender of the Everett Silvertips. He's clearly better than the play of caliber of this league. More fuel to the fire that the American Hockey League should be allowed to keep underage players.
Sometimes the kids are ready.
He appears ready. The fifth point, Cody Fajardo, the heartthrob Cody Fajardo, my favorite Canadian Football League player as quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, telling a Nevada newspaper, because he's living in Reno right now, that he's been told, got an email from the Riders to be ready to report until May 10th for the start of training camp. That came out yesterday. And then I see Farhan Lalji from TSN saying, no, training camps aren't going to open until August. We're over a year into this thing, and the CFL can't get its ducks in a row. What am I missing? Can we get one consistent message? Can somebody stand up and say, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, and if you don't like it, there's the door? Or does nobody actually know? Because that's what I'm starting to think.
Yeah, I don't think, people really know. I think it's like, look at, they're trying to start it on time, so this is when you need to be ready by, if they're going to start on time, if this proposal goes through. But talking to players, and listening to them, if you're close to your city, you maybe need a month. If you're in the States, we're talking 7-8 weeks notice you need before training camp. Get your things in order.
Of course.
To quarantine. 7-8 weeks. So whenever you get an announcement, so start looking at these dates objectively.
We're inside 2 months.
Look at March 13th, May 13th. Go back 7 or 8 weeks. We're past that already.
Okay, 4 viewer comments, and then we'll break and bring in Dave Poulin from Little Tokyo, watching on YouTube. He says, I'd like to be a CFL ambassador because I already spread the sheer awesomeness of the 3-down game here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm an Eskimo fan, just to let you people know. Are you joking?
Dropped in a quick "you people"?
I know. You know that they're not called Eskimos anymore, right? And by the way, the song where they say, and folks dressed up like Eskimos, are they going to cancel that song? They'd better. Ryan McCarthy in Albany, New York says the CFL is putting fans in a glass of emotions, a glass case of emotions. Well, that's nothing new there. And from Trenton, Norway, where it's currently 6:18 p.m. Norway calling. Surprised about the Alberta and BC junior hockey leagues. Time will tell what happens there. Can you read the rest of it? It went off the screen on me.
Time will tell what happens there. Kyle Lowry should be a Raptors Hall of Famer, regardless of trade or not. Regardless of the CFL situation, we need football. Stay well, everyone.
More football talk later, but we got Dave Poulin, Bruins, Flyers, and now TSN Great coming up. It's the RP show you're watching on Game Plus TV Network, and this has been the warm-up for Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for Regina Pats hockey. We got the Pats and the Raiders at 4 p.m. We'll be calling it on Access Now TV. Also, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports talk streaming at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
If you could spend less time in the field, more time with your family, and make more money at the same time, would you do it? Verge's farm operations planning technology eliminates unnecessary turns, improves in-field communication, application accuracy, and reduces deadheading. Finish fields faster, burn less fuel, and use fewer inputs, all in one simple-to-use, web-based solution. Do more of what you want, when you want, with the people you love by subscribing to Launchpad by Verge today.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-14.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Welcome back to the big program, everybody. It's writing down tonight's NHL games. There's some juicy ones. Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights, at the Colorado Avalanche. It is a battle of division leaders in the Rockies. Dave Poulin joins us from TSN. There's a lot of games that we could talk about with him. Hey, Poulin, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Good to be back with you.
It is good. Good to chat hockey.
Absolutely great.
Every time I go by 4 Mile Road, I think of you. Every time, by the way. So congratulations. That created quite a stir around here, too, by the way. Dave, if you've commented on the Tim Peel situation, I haven't seen it yet. Would you mind giving me your thoughts on the firing/suspension of the veteran referee?
Really, really unfortunate. I'm immersed in it. I can't get away from it. And I think, a lot of people are reaching out to me, like referees are, former referees, because I had a great relationship with a number of them. And I've seen a number of them as of late. And, it's really a lousy way to go out for Tim Peel. It really is. I'm not sure whether you knew this part, but he actually, I think, was set to retire last year. And then they talked him into coming back to help with the young guys because their group was young. And the whole game management part of it, I mean, come on, like that's new, and are you familiar with scoutingtherefs.com, the website?
I've heard of it. I don't go to it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. You should go to it. It's a fascinating website. I go to it before every game that I'm broadcasting, and it gives you the details on every referee and linesman. But when I say details, it gives you the percent of penalties they call on the home team, what each team's record is with that referee, how they break down. And so when you look at it and you say, okay, he calls 48% of the penalties on the home team, he calls 49%, he calls 48%, he calls 49%, he calls 50%. There's no 20% in there. There's no 30% in there. I mean, they call the game pretty closely, but I would argue that that's very often not the referees. That's the players, and the players dictate the way the game is played because of the way the referee starts reffing the game. And I knew going into a game what a Kerry Fraser game looked like. I knew what an Andy Van Helmen game looked like. I mean, yes, maybe I paid a little more attention because I was a captain, but I knew what Billy McCreary was going to ref a game like. But so did we as a team. And we wanted consistency from start to finish in the game. And we wanted consistency from game to game with those guys. Ron Fournier was different from Danny Morrell. They were all different, but you knew what you were going to get. And maybe you played accordingly. And you knew going in, if Andy Van Helmen was going to let you get away with a little more, you were going to try a little more. But if you knew that somebody else was absolutely not going to, you didn't try it. And so this has all been, I've got so many thoughts running through my head on this one. I hate to see the way Tim Peel's career is ending. He should get the last game with, his favorite co-referee and the favorite linesman, that little tradition they've built of doing and how to gracefully let these guys exit the game. But, what he said was very unfortunate. And I sort of have a theory on that too, Rod. I think he said that to one of the two young linesmen in the game. So another benefit of going to this website is, it gives you each person's experience. Well, the two linesmen reffing that game, Kelly Sutherland was the other ref, and he's another 1,300 game guy. But the two linesmen were both really young kids. I think one had 25 games and one had a little over 100 games. And I think when he called that penalty, he skated by the other linesman, if you watch, and said what he did sort of to fill him in on that, because you heard a response, yeah, I got it. And maybe he was already defending his own call to himself. Like, boy, that was a soft call. And, so there's so many factors that come into play here. But the bottom line is the way it was handled, the way it ended. Yeah, come on. I mean,
what? Well, I know. This is amazing, by the way. I don't know if everybody else is enjoying it, but I sure am. So that's all that matters. And I think you are too. But I mean, our technical producer, Ryan, said yesterday, if there's a crowd in the rink, nobody even hears this. Another thing that COVID's done. You know what I mean? Right. It would have drowned out what the referee was saying. But Lauren Mulliken, when he was coaching the Pats, used to have me track which refs called which minors, because it was a four-man system then. So if it was Darren DuPont and he called a lot of stick infractions, Lauren's like, watch the sticks tonight, guys, because you know this ref's going to call it. Like, it's not freaking new. And are we supposed to pretend that makeup calls haven't been around for 100 years? That's what I've been saying for 24 hours. How does the NHL conduct itself moving forward, Dave? That's my question here.
Well, let me interject one thing here. Is it a makeup call because of a call you've made? Or is it because of a call the guy at the other end has made? Because now you're dealing with two refs. And so are you compensating now? It's a two-man team. And are you compensating for a call that maybe you made? Because I watched, there had been one call up to that point in that game. It was the other referee that made the call. And it was on a Detroit player. And it was on a Nashville player driving the net, who was the same player who was called by Tim Peel. So, and I'll tell you one thing, another point here, and you got me going on these guys. Rod, I'll tell you what, but you have to have relationships with these guys. And the day they took the names off the referees' sweaters, I was like, well, they have names, they have personalities, and now they're anonymous because they don't have names on their jerseys. And we were at a golf tournament, and somebody asked, I was standing in the area, and somebody asked Billy McCreary about me as a player and how I was to deal with. And he said, he drove me nuts. He said, because I would call a penalty on the Flyers, and he'd skate up beside me, and the crowd would be going crazy, and he wouldn't really look at me, and he'd kind of be smiling, and he'd be taking some tape off his stick, and he'd be just giving it to me. And he'd be calling me every name in the book, but he did it with a smile on his face, and he really wasn't looking at me, so I couldn't give him a penalty. And he said it was such an effective way of communicating, and we had a relationship, and we knew it, and you were allowed to have relationships. And why is Wes McCauley considered one of the best referees? Because he's got a personality, and everybody knows his name, and he's got relationships with the players. You can see it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, and that you get to have relationships, good relationships and bad relationships. But I remember when they first brought in the four-person crew, I was coaching the Regina Pats in an intra-squad game. They had just started this, and I said to the guy at the red line, I said, you just missed this infraction. He goes, well, not my responsibility. It's that ref's call. And I'm like,
here we go.
Yeah, here we go. You're going to blame it on the other guy. I'm pretty sure you're responsible for everything on the ice. But anyways, that's...
and I know some of my guys have said, call the rule book the way it is. Some of, my fellow TSN guys have said, call the rule book the way it is. Well, that's fine. You and I are the refs tonight. How do you see a hook versus how I see a hook? Like, calling the rule book the way it is isn't as simple as that. It's just not. A trip inside, did he really trip? Did he toe pick? How much was the stick involved? If a penalty ranges from 1 to 5, and both of us call every 4 and 5, you call the 3s, I call some of the 3s, I never call the 2s and 1s, you call some of the 3s and some of the 2s, boy, there's so much subjectivity in it. It's not a robot making the calls.
No, but we can agree they do an outstanding job. And it's an
outstanding job.
Yeah, they do. That's what's kind of been lost in this too, Dave. These are the best referees in the world.
No question. No question. They're really good at what they do.
We moving on?
I don't know. You know what? I got so many thoughts going through my head on this one because it is an incredibly hard job, and it's so important. And people get fired because of calls that are made. There might be 2 bad calls against a team and the coach gets fired. You're like, okay, well, they were bad calls. Are you allowed to say that to the general manager that just fired you? So
I know.
They're a necessary part of the game. They're a fabric of the game. They always will be. And where does the league go from there? I think was a question you were starting to ask me when I interrupted you again, because this is a passionate subject for me. Yes, try and tighten everything up. Yes, and really have them keep doing what they're doing. I mean, it's their boss, it's their leader that they take their instructions from, and you keep grinding it down and keep going and try and get better, just like the players are.
But I got a million thoughts too. My point is that the makeup call's been around for 100 years. So what are we going to stop calling it?
Please.
Are we going to stop calling it?
Not a chance.
Is that what we're... No, you can't change what's baked into it. And they're talking about betting and that this influences the outcome of games. No, it doesn't. It's never influenced the outcome of games. Everybody's fine with makeup calls. We know when you're getting when we're getting one, we're getting one. We're owed one. Whatever. We don't fight it. Enough of that, because now I'm getting worked up, and I think you are too. What's burning in my mind, and I hope this isn't an unfair question, but I had the Flames picked number 1 in Canada this year, and look where they are. And I'm just thinking, are they the most disappointing team in the NHL? We kind of knew Buffalo was going to be bad. We knew Detroit was going to be bad. Everybody had Ottawa picked for 7th, but this Flames thing doesn't compute to me.
I had them picked at 5. I didn't see it, or maybe I did see it. Maybe I saw it ahead of it. Something doesn't work up front there. Something just doesn't work. I mean, they've changed out their D. They brought in the new goaltender. And sometimes when you bring in a new goaltender like that, the core group says, well, there's so much fuss about our goaltending, and now we've got Jacob Markstrom. So if they went out and spent that much money on a goaltender and it was that important to them, it really wasn't us. It was the goaltending that was the issue. And, they brought a better goaltender in. It hasn't cured all. There's something that doesn't work with that mix up front. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work with the combination they have. And they thought they've changed all around it, but they haven't changed it. And I guess you could say, well, they made, the Elias
Lindholm. Yeah.
Sorry. Lindholm. Yeah, I've got Pedersen in my mind. They made that move, and that's a significant move. But they played for 5 coaches now. And even when they made the coaching change, I'm not a fan of in-season coaching changes because I think it lets the players off the hook. And that may sound funny coming from a former player, but I didn't want to let teammates off the hook either and have someone say, oh, thank God they've got a new coach in here because it's not our fault. And that's the same thing I'm saying about the goaltender is, well, they changed the goaltender because they know it wasn't our fault. Well, it's someone's fault. And 5 coaches they've played for. And think of the personalities from Bob Hartley. I mean, and you think of rolling through the personalities, Bill Peters and Jeff Ward
most recently, of course.
Yeah. And so you've had different personalities. That's not the point. Gulletson was in there as well. And so you've had these different personalities. Hasn't worked. So change is obviously brewing, but I did have them 5th. And for me, Rod, it came down to Edmonton and Calgary. I thought were going to be 4-5, and I chose the 2 superstars over the new goaltender. That's how I made my final decision. I still think Montreal is going to be okay. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, if you said there'd be 3 teams sitting with 42 points right now, we would have said, really? How did that happen? Wasn't Toronto 10 points ahead at one point, or, and Edmonton looked like they were imploding when Toronto went through there. And maybe that was their wake-up call. In Montreal, I still think is going to be fine, although they haven't won 2 games in a row since, I think, the 2nd of February. Now they've got a whole different thing to deal with this,
COVID,
compaction of the schedule that they'll have, because they're going to be really, really compressed through this stretch now.
Well, then,
but I think they might have the depth to get through.
If that's true, then the Flames, Canucks, and Sens all miss the playoffs, and wait and see how that goes over in those markets. We got to roll, Poulin. Love the chat as always. We're watching all the time. Thanks for this, and enjoy the games tonight.
Always a pleasure. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, bud. TSN's Dave Poulin joining us from Toronto. Before we break, Curling report for Verge Agriculture. John Morris and Danielle Schmeeman will face Brad Gushu and Carrie Einarson in this afternoon's semifinal in Calgary. The winner advances to the evening final against Colton Lott and Kadriana Sahadik for the championship. Lott and Sahadik of Selkirk, Manitoba, took the direct route to the final by edging Morris and Schmeeman 7-6 in Wednesday's page playoff between the two top seeds. Einarson and Gushu eliminated 2018 champions Laura Walker and Kirk Myers 8-6 in the playoff between the third and fourth seeds. Lott and Sahadik were national mixed doubles runners-up in 2018 and bronze medalists in 2019. The duo has clinched a berth in the next Olympic mixed doubles trials as the top team in Calgary, not already qualified. Einarson and Gushu, with a combined 5 Canadian team titles between them, are playing mixed doubles together for the first time. The three teams still in contention in a field of 35 also learned Wednesday when and where they would wear the maple leaf at the World Championship if they win the Canadian title today. The World Curling Federation announced there will be a World Mixed Doubles Championship in May in Aberdeen, Scotland. The Curling Report is brought to you by our friends at Verge Agriculture, helping farmers plan and optimize their operations across every field. Try Verge's Precision Farm Tech software free today at vergeag.com. And I'm very excited to be on Verge Ag's podcast that we're taping this afternoon. Follow our social channels. There's Verge Agro on Twitter for details. We'll be talking about the importance of mental health in the agriculture business. We'll be right back. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show
All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
And Moose DuPont's here. It took a full 4 minutes for them to fix his microphone. Or, yeah, your microphone.
Fixed, though.
You ruined it. You didn't even talk for 10 minutes.
No.
Hey, people are wired and upset today in a variety of ways. People are excited. Scoop broken by this show last night and added on to this morning. The BC Hockey League reportedly leaving Hockey Canada, leaving the Canadian Junior Hockey League and forming their own league. And this morning, I've reported 4 teams in the Alberta Junior Hockey League going with them. Reportedly Brooks, Okotoks, Spruce Grove, and Grand Prairie to form their own Super League. And I see everybody saying, what would be the point? Why are they doing this? Listen, ask those leagues, ask those teams. I'm just reporting what's going down. Furthermore, I said CFL players don't want to hear the truth of what's going on in the Canadian Football League right now. The 20% proposed pay cuts has been offered to the players. Now they need to decide whether they want to take it or not. I've said twice yesterday, I watched the clips. This is what it is. You either need to accept it or move on with your life. Tony Washington of the Alouettes has written us, Darren, on Twitter and says, buddy, players took 20 to 30% pay cuts. Now they propose another 20%? If I'm a guy in the middle making $150, that's literally almost half my salary. Then after taxes or conversion, that's a minimum wage job. And I'm supposed to get my head beat in for 18 weeks for a Walmart job pay? Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. And you know yourself that some guys will. So when I say the players don't want to hear the truth, this is the truth. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm tired of being shot as the messenger here. You want to be mad? Vote no. And get your guys in the Players Association to vote no. Otherwise, they're going to be playing with pay cuts and you're going to be disgruntled. I didn't say I liked it. I'd like to see the CFL go out and sell more sponsorships and helmet stickers like the NHL has, or whatever it's going to take, or get more out of the TV deal because the TSN, frankly, is laughing at them for the little amount that they pay versus the viewers that they get. I don't like it. You have a choice, Tony. Accept it or don't. But am I beating my head against the wall here? Like I'm on the player's side, but to squawk and beak on Twitter about what the owners are doing to you doesn't do any good. Vote no or go play and accept the terms. Or have I completely missed something here?
No, you're right. But what's interesting is he talks about a double pay cut. Some players haven't taken pay cuts, I'm sure. There's probably players that haven't taken pay cuts, and the league wants them to take a 20%. I think you should take into account some of these players who have taken big pay cuts. Wasn't Adam Bighill one of them? Took like $100,000 off his pay, cut his check in half already.
Enoch Mwamba.
So there's guys like that should be, look at these veterans who have already shown that they're going to play ball. They shouldn't be subject to further cuts. I get that. But
they are.
But at the same time,
to complain about your bosses, who doesn't?
Right. At the same time, yeah, we can't be romantic about the way it should be. Can only accept the way that it is, and then you choose how to proceed, right? And, we talked about the product suffering if you don't have these good players in, and that's going to be the fault of the league. But in 1 year, they won't feel that hurt because if the league comes back, people will buy tickets, they'll be in the stands, they'll watch on TV if there's no fans. So you'll see it. That quality of the product, you won't feel that hurt for another year or two. And by that time, for these players, it'll be too late. But It's tough, but you got a decision to make.
Just pointing out the back and forth with the players. I'm just saying to grumble on social media about the way you're being treated is not going to make a difference. I don't see it making a difference. That's all. Sports update, a 4-goal performance by Andrew Kopp lifted the Winnipeg Jets to a dominant 5-1 victory over the host Vancouver Canucks Wednesday. Rookie goalie Philip Gustafson made 28 saves, and Chris Tierney scored the winning goal as the Senators improved to 5-2 against the Flames this season with a 3-1 victory at CT Center. Sidney Crosby picked up his 13th goal of the season. Tristan Jarry stopped 26 shots, and the Pittsburgh Penguins pushed Buffalo's winless streak to 15 games and counting with a 5-2 victory. In the Dub Hub, Jake Chason had 2 goals and a helper, and Nate Danielson added a goal and 2 helpers as the Brandon Wheat Kings downed the Moose Jaw Warriors 8-2 Wednesday night. Calder Anderson and Braden Yager supplied the goals for the Warriors. Dustin Wolf stopped all 30 shots he faced for his 3rd straight shutout to open the season, and the Everett Silvertips blanked Tri-City for their 3rd consecutive victory. And Tristan Robbins scored his 2nd goal of the game 29 seconds into overtime. And how do you say this kid's name? I said Sirkonik, but it's not right.
Kyle Krinkovic. Thank you. Had 4 assists as Saskatoon erased a 2-goal deficit in the final 4 minutes of the 3rd to beat the Swift Current Broncos 6-5. Bo Bichette hit 2 home runs, and Trent Thornton pitched 3 scoreless innings as the Toronto Blue Jays beat the New York Yankees 5-0 in preseason action on Wednesday. Bichette belted 2 solo shots, 1 in the 2nd and another in the 5th innings, while Teoscar Hernandez added a 2-run blast in the 3rd. Spicy P scored 27 points, and the Toronto Raptors routed the Denver Nuggets 135-111 in Tampa to break a 9-game losing skid. Toronto built a 24-point lead in the first half to win for the first time since February 26th. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your home for Regina Pats hockey. Pats and Raiders today at 4 p.m. on their big screens. Visit them in the heart of the Dewdney Strip. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. I'll be dipping into the Red Bull today. Is there some in the fridge? Oh, yeah.
Because I have the podcast. I have to tape our Access Best of the Week show right after this show, then that Verge Agriculture podcast, then we're calling a hockey game. And I'm interviewing the owner of the Pats, Sean Semple, before all of that. I'm going to need some Red Bull.
How about that?
How about that? What I tell you, only for special occasions for me.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
Yeah.
Viewer takeover is next. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, Facebook and YouTube Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
And the whole crew. Breaking news this morning out of the NBA. The Toronto Raptors have dealt shooting guard Norman Powell to the Portland Trailblazers for Rodney Hood and Gary Trent Jr. I don't believe the Raptors have made this official, but it was first reported by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Woj. Again, Norman Powell gone to the Portland Trailblazers for guards Rodney Hood and Gary Trent Jr. This isn't going to mean much for the people that are listening live, that they can't see the video. But, Darren, you have the brand made. That's why I opened the show asking if you've branded anybody lately. He's addicted to Yellowstone, like many of us, where they brand their ranch hands on the Yellowstone Ranch. And you think that you should do the same thing.
Although nobody's been branded in a while. Like
here?
On the ranch. I'm in season 3, and there hasn't been an actual brand laid on anybody in a while. Except, what's the young cowboy?
Let's see the video.
Play the video. What's the young cowboy? He just got busted up in the rodeo. So
can you give a commentary?
Yeah, so my fabricator, it's my brother. Kind of looks like Casey. You know, he's got the long hair. There you go. He's got the brand completed.
That did look good.
So that's pretty good, hey?
Nice work, Clark.
It's pretty good. So
you'll be first.
Yeah.
Joking.
There is a lineup. It is volunteer.
We do have
only
a female in Saskatoon has volunteered to be branded with a DuPont Media brand. I'm not even joking.
No, you're not.
Hi, Les. Hey. How you doing, bud?
Good, you?
Next hour, we'll have the voice of the Saskatoon Blades here in the booth to talk hockey. Dub Hub, my brother from another mother. So to the viewer takeover here. From the 552, says, being that I watch your show pretty much every day on Game Plus TV, I was shocked to see yourself and Phil Andrews bring up the passing of Ken Scoop McCabe. My father, our family is very appreciative of the kind words. I've been a fan from day one, like the content, the way the show's put together. Keep up the good work. Thanks again. Well, we're big fans of Ken Scoop McCabe, and that's why we brought it up. And I thank Doug McKell for reminding us to. By the way, we lost a good man, and they don't make him like that anymore. Scoop McCabe of the Indian Head Wolseley News. From Ray in the 6, texting in, says, hi, Rod. Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time. It's too bad if he can't retire as a Raptor, but it's the right thing to do to trade him now. It's pro sports, and it's time to rebuild. Don't you feel like these questions of who's the greatest ever are kind of subjective?
They're very subjective.
Because we're still voting for Vince Carter. But Ray in the 6 thinks it's Kyle Lowry. He's entitled to that.
Absolutely.
Devin in Regina says the truth never has to answer questions. Keep up the great work telling it. Thank you. People don't like to hear the truth, Les. Did you know that? You heard that?
I've known that
after
42 years.
After 42 years. They don't like to. No, I don't want to hear it. No. I'm having a back and forth with Tony Washington, and he's upset that I've pointed out the truth. He's like, we know the truth. Then stop coming at me. You're in a bad situation. I'm just saying I'm not the bad guy. from Bob in Grand Prairie says the BC division of the Dub starts tomorrow. Go Rockets. Best franchise in the Dub. Bob in Grand Prairie. Okay, we got it all to next hour. Plus Bill Chow. Hang around. Stick around after this break, everybody.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
If you could spend less time in the field, more time with your family, and make more money at the same time, would you do it? Verge's farm operations planning technology eliminates unnecessary turns, improves in-field communication, application accuracy, and reduces deadheading. Finish fields faster, burn less fuel, and use fewer inputs, all in one simple-to-use, web-based solution. Do more of what you want, when you want, with the people you love by subscribing to Launchpad by Verge today.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say. And I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Tim Peel fired, I guess, by the National Hockey League.
How about that?
The NHL announcing this morning that he will no longer officiate games. He was supposed to retire in April. I mean, come on. So he got caught on an open mic admitting an even-up call? I'm blown away by the reaction. We've known since we started playing the game and working in the game that this happens. And furthermore, we don't even have a problem with it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the second half kickoff, and this show has really morphed into exactly what we wanted it to be, and that is daytime sports with our friends, talking, having coffee, and we've got Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, here in the bunker, and all of you, of course. Les, are you coffeeed out? You didn't want coffee? What's the deal?
I'm coffeeed out. I've been up since 6.
What?
And I've had more than enough coffee. This is a busy day today, because I'm still doing
sportscast for CJWW, my employer, the Saskatoon Media Group back home. So there's casts to do. There's all kinds of little features to do, features that I do every day. I do a daily sports commentary called The Parting Shot. There's a Blades feature that has to go on an FM station. So there's a lot to do. And if I was going to fit this in along with 2 other podcasts that I'm involved with today, there's not enough hours in the day sometimes. People think I'm in Regina having a holiday. There's no holiday here, folks. This is not a holiday. And you know what, though, Rod? I'm not complaining. I love it. The fact that I'm back doing what I love to do, this is phenomenal right
Western
now.
Hockey League is playing.
Yes.
And that's very exciting. So, hey, one thing, watching in Philadelphia right now, Dan, the situation Saravelli is watching from the Enterprise Sports Show.
Okay.
And he says, Rod, I see your bracket's still alive. I don't know what to say about that. All of 2 minutes thought went into my bracket at CBSSports.com. Thank you, Dan, the situation, Saravelli, for inviting me into that bracket in Philly, and I'm glad to see that it is still alive. Go Oral Roberts. Well, I know they fell to Florida, but it's still... No, they won.
Yeah, they did.
Oral's still going.
They're still going. They're in the Sweet 16.
Breaking news today, the Toronto Raptors here on this NBA trade deadline have dealt Norman Powell to the Portland Trailblazers for guards Rodney Hood and Gary Trent Jr. So the fire sale's begun. Norman Powell gone, which is unfortunate. And I guess we wait until 1 p.m. Mountain, our time, for the actual NBA trade deadline. But as was pointed out by the Canadian press earlier, those trades, it's like the dub. They won't, just because the deadline passes doesn't necessarily mean they'll even be announced. Paperwork needs to be done.
Yep.
So we won't know necessarily by 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain where we are situated if Kyle Lowry remains a Raptor past today or not. But this is the golden corral of sports talk, and that is we have a little bit for everybody. So we're going to get into officiating, our Junior A scoop. I just want to say this. There's a big talk going about the CFL, the 20% pay cuts. And listen, I can take it. There's players that are coming at me that are saying, I'm saying you don't have any options, guys. You either have to accept this pay cut and play or retire. Those are your options. And they're saying, we know that's our options. We don't like it, Rod. Don't come at me, guys. I'm not the bad guy.
No.
You need to accept that this is where you're at. And I know that you're in a pinch. And I don't like what the owners are doing. I don't. And so from our viewers here, Jason in Red Deer says, I don't mind the truth. If the league has to cease after efforts to revive, then so be it. But I don't feel the league is even trying anymore. Well, that's a nice cavalier attitude for people to say, oh, the league will fold, they'll come back. What about these players? That's the point. I think they're realizing that they don't hold the power that they thought they did.
Well, and not just the players having the issue of not being able to play and maybe having to retire, but don't be so cavalier. Just because it's going to work in Saskatchewan coming back, just because it's going to work in Winnipeg coming back, or in Hamilton, some places it's not going to come back. It may not come back in Toronto. It may not come back in Vancouver. It may not come back in Montreal, because those are the types of cosmopolitan types of centers in Canada that the CFL has a very tenuous situation with, because there's enough people, and you've talked about this, I've known this for a long time. The National Football League is that large conglomerate that has just absolutely consumed us. You can gamble on just about everything. You can watch 9,000 different games, as opposed to the CFL, where you've only got 9 teams and the gambling options are limited. And as a result, people don't care as much about the CFL as they should in this country. They're overly consumed by the National Football League, and it's too bad.
The NFL's Costco.
Yeah, it is.
And it's caused the shutdown of the corner store.
Absolutely.
From Chris Bird in Toronto, he says, I'm sure the league is trying.
Yep.
But the league needs 9 governors on board. Not so sure that's happening. Plus, the league reportedly, and not surprisingly, has no money. Jim Waldron says, so I guess Boomer was right about the CFL. Since you guys can't seem to get it up and running, I mean, maybe it's time to become a minor league to the NFL. They could save you. Look at their TV deal. Simple way is to open up the import rule. Jim Waldron is a viewer in New Jersey, by the way. And yes, I've only been saying this for 20 years, and I'm the jerk. The CFL people are vehemently opposed to being an NFL farm league or a partner with the XFL, and it's going to be to their detriment. One more from Dan, the situation, Saravelli, who says Kyle Lowry likely could end up in Philly. How about that? Maybe just a rental player. Yeah, till the end of the year. And then he goes back to Toronto. That would work.
That would work. How about the LA Lakers? How about the Miami Heat? Those are the three teams that are being mentioned this morning as possible destinations for Kyle Lowry.
Wow.
Does it have to happen? Just the fact that they traded Norman Powell now and got two people back, do they necessarily now absolutely have to trade Kyle Lowry? Something to consider.
And it's always great how we sprinkle in the viewers, right? Mike Soulier, trainer to the stars. Hockey, football, and gosh knows what else. He says, Souls is listening.
Yes.
And Ken Hitchcock's best friend. I'm going to throw that in there right there, Mike Soulier.
Yeah.
And he was a close friend of my dad's. So nice segue to hockey, Lester.
Okay.
Before we get to the Dub stuff. And then Bill Chow coming in next segment. Les going to stick around for a portion of that, I hope. I've mentioned that the BC Hockey League breaking off from the Canadian Junior Hockey League, the umbrella organization that oversees all of Junior A hockey and Hockey Canada. They're going to do their own thing. 4 teams from Alberta reportedly joining them. I'm told Brooks, Okotoks, Spruce Grove, and Grand Prairie. That's our breaking news today. I'm not going to ask you about that.
No.
What I am going to ask you about is Tim Peel.
Mm-hmm.
And how you feel this referee that, I guess if the NHL doesn't want to say that they fired him even though they did, can we at least say you've suspended him? Because you have.
Yes.
How do you feel about the treatment of him and what went down?
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that an open mic caught what Tim Peel did. He essentially did what pretty much the National Hockey League asks its officials to do. It has been forever. My favorite saying is, at the end of a game, when you start taking a look at the power play chances that each team has, is that the officials somehow found a way to have the same number of marbles in each of their pockets. Essentially the same number of power plays for each team. And it always seems to end up that way. There are even up calls, whether you want to admit it or not. And there's situations where if a team gets up a couple of goals early, the officials seem almost like they need to give the team that's trailing an opportunity with a manpower advantage off a little bit of a chintzy call, a little bit of a call that is not that great, in order to give them a chance to maybe score on the power play and get back into the game, to maintain the competitiveness of the individual games. Because otherwise, especially back in the 80s, if you didn't do that, and it's continued since then, but back in the 80s, when there was such a disparity between the great Oiler teams and some of those others, like the Islanders, etc., and then you had the dregs at the bottom, like my Winnipeg at times, you would have the blowouts. If you didn't give those inferior teams an opportunity at some point to get back into the game, you were going to lose fans and the competition aspect. So there's so much parity now that you really don't need to do it, but it's still ingrained in the NHL's officiating, and that's why it happens. And what Tim Peel did is essentially what his bosses at the National Hockey League want him to do.
And turn it around and fired him for it.
And turn around and fired him for it. And I hope that they rescind it. I hope they let him get out on his own terms and do a couple of games. Although if I'm Tim Peel, I'd probably tell him to go stuff it. You can take your job and stuff it. I mean, I'm retired now. I was going to retire in a month. But I would like to see him go out with a little more of an opportunity to do one last game and get the proper goodbye that he deserves.
Well, he's not going to get it, Les.
No, of course
and here's what's going to happen, by the way. I've done a dinner within the last couple of years with Don Koharski, along with Chris Nyland and Zenon Park, and it was amazing. Mick Magoo, doing all those banquets with Mick, he opened the door to me to that officiating world. And I was as devastated as anybody outside of his family when he passed prematurely, because we were just getting rolling. Stephen Wackham, all those guys. It's a great world, that officiating world. And they're getting screwed over here. Tim Peel is.
Absolutely.
And here's what's going to happen is he's going to maybe go out, if he's that kind of guy, and go to these banquets and stuff, and everybody's going to say, man, you really got screwed, Tim. He's like, oh, I know. You know what I mean? They're never going to get over this. This is his legacy now, and shame on the National Hockey. It is. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
He will be Tim Peeled. This is how he's going to be remembered. So I'm with you. My question to Dave Poulin, like last hour, was how do they officiate games moving forward? That competitive aspect still going to go on. Makeup calls are still going to go on, and we can all see that they're going on. So are the coaches not allowed to say it? Are the broadcasters not allowed to say it? What are you going to do now, NHL? But we're moving on because it's a fast-paced show.
Yes.
Drew Koser writes in from the Off the Hosel podcast. You know Drew from the hockey-playing Koser family.
Yes.
He says, Les's thoughts on Roddy Ross.
Disappointing, unfortunately, for him, because we're talking about a kid who's in his last year.
This is the 20-year-old Regina Pats goalie that came from the Seattle Thunderbirds and is a prospect of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. And I was actually going to bring that up. The fact that you're bringing in a kid who was a 20-year-old who was the reason why the Seattle Thunderbirds did as well as they did last year. He stole games for the Thunderbirds last year. We haven't seen that, unfortunately, from Roddy Ross so far. And people may say, well, why doesn't Dave Struch make the move and put in Matthew Keeper and let him take the ball and run with it for a while? Because we still haven't heard for sure whether there's going to be a playoff or not in the Western Hockey League. Until such time as that is said to be not on the table, you're going to go with the people that you think give you the best opportunity to win games. And as a result, Dave Struch still believes, along with John Paddock, I'm sure, that Roddy Ross can find his game and gives the Regina Pats the best opportunity to win more often than not in this double. So Roddy Ross will have to work his way out of it, just like Carey Price had to work his way out of it for the Montreal Canadiens earlier in the season. Roddy Ross, I'm sure, will do it. He's liable to do it tomorrow when the Blades take on the Pats and just absolutely stone Saskatoon. That's the way hockey goes, and I think you have to give Roddy Ross the opportunity.
Nice. Glenn Erickson watching from Dub Network. He's in Medicine Hat. He says, I love the officiating fraternity. So many great guys, so many great stories. With this in mind, Swede Knox left us this past week. Rest in peace. Yeah. From Janelle Barkman in Saskatoon, she says, two of my favorite guys talking sports. Love the opinions, love the insight. Thank you, Janelle. Love you too.
Absolutely.
Go Blades.
Yep, absolutely.
You beat my Pats the other day, Les. Nick writes in. Nick on Twitter, I don't know his last name. He says, following up the report from the Rod Pedersen Show that the BCHL potentially leaving Canadian junior hockey and taking 4 Alberta teams to form a new league. A BCHL spokesperson said today, quote, we've seen these reports and we can't make any comment on it at the moment.
No surprise. That's going to happen.
From Travis Rosebrook, he says, I think the refs need to make the call and move on from it. We all make mistakes. There's no need to keep track of what they got right and wrong. Make-up calls are like me losing Game 7 of the Cup Finals at NHL 21 and turning off the game and restarting it so I can win. I guess so. But let me just say this. You want to talk about you're suspending Tim Peel to preserve the integrity of the game in the National Hockey League. No, you're not. This is where you screwed up, NHL.
Yeah.
Because you're burying the secret of what goes on in games.
Exactly.
Unless you fix that secret, it's always going to be a problem. So if you're saying that make-up calls hurt integrity of the game, then get rid of them. Don't get rid of the guy that admitted that you were doing it.
And they can't not unearth the secret and bring it to light, because if you start doing that and then you start calling every penalty, and you see it every year at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
You call everything in the exhibition season and early in the year, and you end up with 30 power plays a night, and it slows down the flow of the game. There is no flow to the game, and nobody likes it. So this is essentially what you get. There is the secret. There's the way things are done, and they're done this way in order to maintain the competitive balance, to provide entertainment, to provide flow to the game, and that's the way it is. The fact that the NHL did this to Tim Peel is so not right. It's ridiculous.
Dean Shaw writes in, he says, I always listen to you on the airwaves, but first-time listener to this format. Now I know what I'm missing. Great job. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate you watching and commenting and listening. And I'll just say one more before I just turn for one last point with Les. Brent Sopel. Whom I love.
Great man.
Wrote in yesterday from Florida, Clearwater, Florida. Stanley Cup champion, former Saskatoon Blade.
Yes, he was.
Like how I always say that.
I like that.
He said, how about Colin Campbell continually emailing Stephen Wackham bitching about calls on his kid when Colin Campbell was playing for the Boston Bruins? Like, Sobes is basically saying, who's Colin Campbell to talk about integrity? He was all over Stephen Wackham. Mm-hmm. Because of the way he officiated his kid. So, like, it's bad. If this guy's making the call on firing Tim Peel, it's inexcusable. Lastly, and then I will let you go, and we'll bring in Bill Chow, but Lester, your take on the future of the Canadian Football League right now. XFL merger, an all-Canadian CFL. Or will there even be a CFL? Where are you on this?
Well, I fear for the CFL. The fact that they didn't play last year was concerning to me. I felt they needed to at least give it a try, and they didn't do it. I understand there's no money in it. There's no revenue in it. The teams can't afford to do it. I think there's some owners that could have. I think there's some owners that probably could have anteed up and made sure it happened, because I think you need to keep yourself in the public eye. This is the biggest thing that I think the Western Hockey League, that the Quebec Major Junior League, that these leagues have done, even though they're going to take a bit of a bath financially, is the fact that they've put their product out there and kept themselves in the public eye. The CFL, if it doesn't get started this year in some way, shape, or form, might very well be sounding the death knell. And I hate to say that because I love the CFL. I'm a kid that grew up in Winnipeg and got on my bike and drove a few miles in order to get tickets in the Salisbury House kids section in the south end zone of the old Winnipeg Stadium. I love the CFL, but they're just not seeing what they have to do in order to keep themselves alive. If it means pairing up with the XFL, fine. I don't like that. I prefer to see the Canadian Football League still be a place where Canadian university and junior athletes can come out and still play professionally. But I don't know if that's going to be feasible down the line with the way the situation is right now.
Well said.
Thank you.
Doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good.
Listen, I'm going to let you roll.
Yeah.
So thanks for popping in.
Not a problem. Any old time. I'm here till, the 28th of April or so?
Isn't it great?
It's wonderful. I can't tell you. I mean, I got a call. I got a text from Cam Moon at the end of last night's game. What a game that was, where the Blades were able to score twice in the final 3.5 minutes and then win it in overtime. And just the fact that I can do what I love and the passion that I love to show for the game. The fact that the game is back, Roddy, I'll be easily admitting to you that December and January were not a lot of fun mentally. I was down. It was tough to get going on a day-to-day basis, writing and talking about COVID on newscasts in the radio station. This has brought me back.
Good to hear, Les, and good to have you.
Thank you.
Bill Chow, the president of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Next, you're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, and listen live. 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood.
That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live. Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Going to get to all of your viewer comments and questions a little later on. Just Brady in Saskatoon writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line regarding our poll question today. Who's the greatest Raptor of all time? He says, hey, Rod, Lowry's the greatest Raptor of all time. Blades are too good. 6-0-1. One win away from the franchise record for the best start to a season. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. NBA trade deadline is heating up. Oh, by the way, Kyle Lowry is still a Toronto Raptor, but Norman Powell is not. He was traded to the Portland Trailblazers today for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. So we're staying on top of all of that. Well, let's bring in our good friend, the commissioner, president of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Bill Chow. And Bill, tough week for you. I'm getting all these messages that say, we're very angry that the SJHL's not playing. I said, yeah, we're all very angry or upset. I think that would include you, right, with this news this week. Nobody's happy about it. What's your week been like since you made the tough decision to cancel the season?
Well, I mean, in part, Rod, I mean, our decision was kind of, I don't want to say forced upon us, but with decisions that were made at different levels of government and health as to our submission not being acceptable. And then with the number of cases of COVID in the province and having to wait another 2 to 3 weeks before, a possible approval would be given, was just not going to work for the timelines that we had. The city of Weyburn was gracious enough to say that they would keep their ice in until May 15th at the kind of as the longest date. And, with waiting another 2 or 3 weeks and not knowing for sure that we would be able to start would have probably pushed us right up against that May 15th and beyond of trying to get 1 month of hockey in. So, I believe that, with some of the changes that they would have wanted in our submission, we would have been able to easily accomplish. But at the end of the day, it was that waiting for another 2 to 3 weeks and still not knowing whether we were going to be allowed to play or not was the main issue at hand.
Well, I know you met with Saskatchewan media the other day, but I didn't see that. And I want to just give you, Bill, the floor here to explain some things, because what I think people don't understand is any junior A league is a big brand, very important in hockey. I've had NHL people writing me upset that the SJ pulled its plug. And that's what I wanted to give you the floor to explain why. And some of these questions, because people say, how come the WHL can play in this COVID hotspot of Regina, but the SJ can't play a long ways away from Regina? Those kinds of questions are what you're getting. How are you answering those?
Well, when it comes to why the Western Hockey League is allowed or was allowed to start and we're not, I mean, I'd be really upset if our plan was identical to the Western Hockey League's. Unfortunately, our plan is not identical to the Western Hockey League. I think in one of the differences that we had was that, the Western Hockey League is isolated, quarantined, whatever you want to call it, at the U of R for accommodations. The one difference for us that was significant that was brought back to us was the, we're in one hotel that was isolated or quarantined to 4 teams of the SJHL. And there was another hotel that was going to have 3 teams, but it was also going to be open to the public. Now, that was one of the considerations. And a lot of our talk internally was that, that could probably be addressed. But again, it goes back to that waiting for another 2 to 3 weeks to find out whether or not we would be able to play. So that's kind of what, where the decision was made as to, us calling it, the players, the coaches, the teams, the volunteers, the organizations. We've been playing this tug of war since last November when we were stopped, and so they've had enough of the emotional roller coaster. A lot of the young players, and maybe, I'm going to speak for some of them that, from what coaches told me was that, they did have jobs or do have jobs lined up and that, they had to make a decision and, it's, do they have a job for the summer or do they come and play hockey for a month and not sure, not knowing if in fact we would be able to start.
President of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Bill Chow, is with us. And Bill, I have to ask you about money. I mean, money makes the world go around. Here's a lot of people are saying to me, how are these teams doing it? How are they staying afloat? You got, I think, $83,000 per team from the Saskatchewan government, and thank you, but that doesn't go tremendously far when you have no other revenue. And I'm worried that your next news conference is to announce that some teams aren't going to make it. Are you at that point as a league right now? How's the league doing financially?
No. When it comes to the individual teams, there has been no discussion of a team in a position that they have to fold. I agree. The money that was presented to the teams from the government is a nice sum, not an overwhelming sum. But on the other side of that, the teams haven't had a lot of expenses as well. I think a lot of the teams were able to apply and obtain wage subsidies for their coaches and some of their staff people. So I think, when it comes to that, I think the important thing would be moving forward this summer, spring and summer would be, hopefully we get back to a normal. Hopefully the teams can do their fundraising that they normally do throughout the summer of a normal summer. And that will put them in a position to be strong enough to start the 21-22 season.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you could report that today. My biggest question was that. How are the teams? And you're saying that they are on solid enough footing, you're not going to lose any. What about the actual nuts and bolts of hockey things? I guess you just say goodbye to your 20-year-olds. There was talk, remember, a year ago, if maybe we let the 21-year-olds come back. Obviously, that's not happening. And your draft, the nuts and bolts hockey stuff, what's happening there?
So when it comes to the extending a year for the 20-year-olds, it's not as simple as the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League making that decision as to, do we allow them to play or not? Because we're under, the umbrella of the Saskatchewan Hockey Association. 1, they would have to approve. 2, the CJHL would have to approve. 3, Hockey Canada would have to approve. And so, at those levels, there was no flavor to do that. And so it really, it's unfortunate for those 20-year-olds and those 19-year-olds. The 19s are the 20s this year that didn't get to finish their 19 season, and they have basically no season as a 20-year-old. So it's very unfortunate for them. But as well, it's not like hockey is the only sport that suffered right now. It's every sport, it's every function of normal day life that just doesn't seem to be able to get back to some type of normalcy for any period of time.
So what else do you have for us today, Bill? That's kind of all I had. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, it's been very emotional for the players. I mean, they don't have an opportunity to express themselves. For the coaches, there's a lot of frustration, for them. They've been trying to figure this out. The group in Weyburn have worked diligently to try and make things work down there to pull off a hub, and we're not able to. So I think for everybody, it's very disappointing, and for a lot of people, it's very emotional. and then there's the unknown as to what's going to happen with the 21-22 season. Obviously, hopefully things will clear up here within the province and we can return to or possibly get to some type of normal start come, at the end of August for training camps and the beginning of the season, mid-September.
Yeah, more stuff out of your control. Well, I will say, as always, good job, Bill. I appreciate the time. I'm here if you need me. Always nice seeing you.
Thanks, Rod.
Bill Chow, the president of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, kind of bringing thoughts from a lot of Junior A hockey leagues, but specifically theirs as to why they were unable to play this year. But I'm just happy that, hang on, Drew Koser writes in, draft? Do I need my notes in check? Did he address that? I guess hard to have a draft when they didn't play, isn't it? We'll figure that out down the line. As the minor hockey leagues, that is, the draft-eligible kids. Anyways, checking the poll results here. Who's the greatest Raptor of all time? That's our poll question for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. Your options are Vince Carter, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, or Kawhi Leonard. Those are the four. And I think we've got the right four. Nobody's arguing or saying anybody else. But right now, Kyle Lowry on Twitter is shot into the lead with 55% of the vote. And on Facebook, too, he's leading with 46% of the vote. Kyle Lowry. I think you are potentially being prisoners of the moment. Maybe history will show that he is the all-time greatest Raptor, but he is not the leader in games played. He's not the leader in points scored. That would be DeMar DeRozan. I voted for Vince Carter. And maybe that's just the romantic notion, my memories of Vince Carter. But Kyle Lowry is leading. And as of now, he is still a Toronto Raptor. Last we heard, the only guy shipped out of Toronto is Norman Powell, gone to the Portland Trailblazers on today's NBA trade deadline for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. And while we have a minute, sports update, the Maple Leafs and Senators meet tonight in Ottawa. The Sens are playing some of their best hockey right now and are on a 5-game point streak at 3-0-2. Meanwhile, Toronto struggled and given up its lead for first in the North Division. The Leafs are currently tied for top spot with Edmonton and Winnipeg. Joseph Wall made 23 saves for his first shutout of the season, and the Toronto Marlies blanked the Belleville Senators 3-0 on Wednesday night in American Hockey League play. Jeremy McKenna, Joey Anderson, and Scott Poulin scored for the Marlies. Kevin Mendelez stopped 27 of 29 shots for the Senators. John Morris and Danielle Schmiemann will face Brad Gushu and Kerry Einarson in today's semifinal at the Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Calgary. The winner advances to the evening final against Colton Lott and Kadriana Sahedek for the championship. They're from Selkirk, Manitoba. The champions will wear the maple leaf at the Worlds in Aberdeen, Scotland. And here's one for the soccer people. A win or draw against Honduras tonight, and Canada is through to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Men's Olympic Qualifying Championship. Mexico and the U.S. have already advanced to the semifinals out of the other group at the 8-nation tournament in Guadalajara. And why am I reading that? Had a long talk with one of our newest interns, Rachel Bishop, who is in Toronto gal, big soccer fan. And she's like, a lot of people like soccer out here. I said, well, it's not my biggest sport, but I will do what I can to include it in our sports updates, and maybe she becomes our soccer insider, and maybe even Leafs insider. We'll see. Clark didn't like that. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis with the best team of writers across Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. Visit our website today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including the new almond mocha, RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RPShow. Get yours now at g2gbars.ca. Viewer takeover the rest of the way, starting as soon as we come back. It's the RP Show on this Thursday. You're watching on Game Plus TV, live out of the bunker in Western Canada. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
And Dupes is here. And Dupes is here.
I'm here.
How are you, Moose?
I am well.
Just checking.
Really well.
I said it's viewer takeover the rest of the way here. So James is watching in Borden, Manitoba. He says, my boy Andrew Kopp with 4 goals last night. First four-goal game this season by any player. That deserves a ring of the bell.
Yeah.
Winnipeg's 8th straight win in Vancouver. Big series against the Flames now. Do you see they gave away $100,000 last night on the Safeway Sobeys Score and Win contest?
I know.
With Dennis Bay. How about that?
And was it one more goal away from $1 million?
I guess.
Something like that. It's like they make it so nearly impossible.
Oh, by the way.
If 6 kick returns are returned for touchdowns.
On all this Tim Peel stuff,
yeah.
What about the time in Winnipeg, Argos Blue Bombers, when Karen was supposed to win $1 million and was called back by a ref's call?
Oh, I know.
But refs don't affect outcomes. Right.
That dude's significant other was a VP at Safeway or whoever was giving away the $1 million. He knew the argument he was going to get in at home, so he threw the flag and called it back.
I'm just saying, that always seems to be a Winnipeg thing.
And
what a Karen.
I know. And speaking of that, because it's been on my mind since the Dave Poulin interview, I was on that site, scouttheref.com.
Is it good?
Unbelievable. I don't know if Dave has shares in it or owns the site, but that's a heck of a promotion because Scout the Ref, it gives you all those details. The home team's record, when this guy's reffing. Pretty neat.
Well, just so you know, the Tim Peel thing is just a larger... It's a symbol of a larger issue of how screwed up sports is right now. It's incredibly screwed up. And that particular issue in Winnipeg, where there was the kick return for a touchdown, right? Second of the game, I think, which would have been $1 million for Karen.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to the officials in question in that play. It was a challengeable play, the block from the back, or whatever the penalty was that negated the touchdown. And they said Mark Trestman, who was coaching the Argos, could have challenged that, and he didn't challenge that. So it's more on Trestman than on the call. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like and I'm not even saying they're wrong. It's just everything is so bungled and mixed up. And would you not just love to have the opportunity of a do-over? But they're not getting a do-over.
And that's
where do you fix this?
Yeah, and that's where they're at with the video replay is you now have officials not calling necessarily the game on what they would want the penalty to be. I know they're doing that because I'm not questioning their integrity, but they're calling based on what's the safest. So if I make this call, there's a chance with review for us to undo it and get it right. But if I don't make the call, review can't let me make the call later. So we're calling it, right? If that makes sense?
Sure.
They're playing safe with video review, and it becomes even tougher to do your job.
Sean McCormick is watching in the Game Plus studios in downtown Toronto. And Sean says refs will always have huge effect on games. It is what it is. Refs screwed the New Orleans Saints for 3 years straight in the playoffs. And he's right. Drew Koser from the Off the Hosel podcast, Golf and Hockey, says, was Brett Hull's skate in the paint? There's a lot to unravel on that comment.
Yes.
Of course, my dad was working for the Dallas Stars at the time, so I was very invested in the series. And can I just say this? Go back and find an NHL rulebook from 1999 that very clearly says you can be in the crease, you can have a skate in the crease as long as you don't affect the play. You don't interfere with the goaltender. You're not interfering with anybody. That was a good goal by the rulebook. But nobody wants to hear it. And Drew doesn't want to hear it. Lindy Ruff doesn't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. But it was a good goal.
I think they got it absolutely right.
They did.
I think they got it right. And even if the rule, and this is the interpretation of that, and again, I want to go back and read it now, but the interpretation is that if the skate's in before the puck, it's no goal. And that's fine. But that was never the spirit of the rule to have something like this so inconsequential. It doesn't affect the play. They got it right. They shouldn't have been ripped away the Stanley Cup based on that toe in the crease. And then they changed it later. But we want things so black and white. We don't want what's best for the game. We want, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, so you got to do this. And I'm like, it's such a bad way to approach life and such a negative way to live. When you can get rid of that, oh, man, your stress levels will go down. Your enjoyment levels will go up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the whole world, nobody's going to listen to me, but everybody, if you get a chance, go down to your local bookstore and buy the book called Trust by our former Governor General, David Johnston. I've met him. I've read it. And there's a chapter in there saying doing what's right versus doing the right thing. Maybe letting go Tim Peel yesterday was the right thing, but it wasn't what's right. And if that's too deep for you, people, you'll never get it. But they're not, all these leagues aren't doing what's right. By the way, so Bill Chow, you understand I love the guy. That's why I'm wearing this SJHL bunny hug today. He says to Clark after the interview, surprised Rod didn't ask me about the BCHL news. Billy, when I said, anything else, Bill, that's all I have.
That was the opening.
That's opening the door for, well, you know, Rod, by the way, on your scoop on the BCHL leaving the CJHL. So he texted Clark that, the producer. I'm surprised he didn't ask me. So here's what Bill Chow has to say. This is on the record, right, Clark? It's on the record. It's unfortunate a letter was received by the CJHL. What the ramifications are, time will tell. So if you missed the scoop, the BC Hockey League Bill's confirming it as far as I can tell here. They have notified the Canadian Junior Hockey League, we're leaving your association. And the further report that I received is that 4 teams are going with them: Brooks, Okotoks, Spruce Grove, and Grand Prairie from the Alberta Junior Hockey League. How this affects hockey, I guess we'll break and come back. If you look, it's huge news, okay? So, while the country's going nutso about Kyle Lowry, and that's fine, there's really big news out here in Western Canada as it pertains to hockey and, frankly, the future of the CFL and whatever else is on that you want to talk about. So we'll get to all that when we come back with Overtime. That's next. It's the RP Show, and you are watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and listen live. 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com. You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. It is overtime. Moose DuPont still here. A couple things. Sports on tap tonight. for the Tap drive-through liquor store and brew house. Western Hockey League Bubble, 4 p.m. Pats and Prince Albert Raiders will have the call on Access Now television, followed by at 8 p.m. the Battle of Manitoba. Winnipeg Ice versus the Brandon Wheat Kings. You can watch that on WHL Live. National Hockey League tonight, another very busy night. Pay attention. Devils at Capitals. Hurricanes at Blue Jackets. Leafs at Sens, the one you're really watching close, of course. That's your team.
Yes.
Islanders at Boston. Boston and Philly, last I checked, tied for the final playoff spot in the Mass Mutual East Division. Flyers home to the Rangers. Buffalo at Pittsburgh tonight. Florida at Chicago. Detroit at Nashville in a friends and family game. St. Louis Blues at Minnesota. Tampa Bay at Dallas. And Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights, will visit the Colorado Avalanche. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays home to the Detroit Tigers, 4:37 p.m. Mountain. So that's your sports on tap for tonight for the Tap Brewhouse and Liquor Store. They're now open for dine-in or pick-up. The liquor store drive-thru is open. Plus, you may also shop inside. Please follow social distancing guidelines and help everyone stay safe. You got anything before I get into the Great Western Ultra update?
No, I'm ready for it.
Okay. Are you guys ready for it? Hopefully I can sneak this into 80 seconds, and we're on. We're going. Okay, let's talk some more CFL jottings today. Why not? Training camps are supposed to open in less than 2 months. Wednesday night proved to be a real tug-of-war of emotions with CFL pundits reporting training camps will be delayed until August. Meanwhile, Cody Fajardo says he's been told to report to the Riders for May 10th. Sigh. And the proposed 20% pay cuts for the players has become a major lightning rod topic. I mentioned it's a take-it-or-leave-it scenario, and some turn their guns on me. Hey, I don't like the CFL's approach to this either, but the golden rule still applies. They own the gold, so they make the rules. If this all goes down, the owners can take the blame, too. On a brighter note, the Leader Post Rob Vanstone wrote a cheerful column on how he'd like the CFL to emerge from this. He'd like it to get back to the Canadian Football League we knew up to the 1970s, when there were only a handful of American players allowed per team. George Reed has told us many great stories about that era. I'm absolutely not opposed to this concept. Why wouldn't a truly great league made up of Canadian players be the way to go? And why does it really matter where they're from as long as it's entertaining, good quality ball? I have no idea where the players are from in the fan-controlled football league, and it's a riot. At a Sask Rush game, I only check the players' hometowns during TV timeouts. Otherwise, I don't care. No matter how the CFL merges, they better make sure they can market it, and Canadians want to buy it. Here's your Great Western update for Original 16 Ultra.
You got out of the blocks a little slow, and that's
they didn't tell me they shot the gun.
That's what caused the bad finish. Other than that, you were on record pace.
I caught up.
Pretty good.
Here it is. An Original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. A superior taste with only 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise. So Hall of Fame Rough Riders broadcaster John Frenzy's here. Right after this show, we'll be taping our weekend Best of the Week show with John Frenzy. And I guess it's Thursday now, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a Football Friday, and we'll delve way more into this. And I'm at a point now where we can just play the what-if game. What if the CFL survives this and they need to, but it needs to change? Are we down with an 85% Canadian roster? Could Canadians get behind that? Or is it all NFL in this country now? Is it too late?
Oh, it's never too late. It's all about the storylines. It's all about creating a captive audience and engaging the viewers and listeners. So if you're starting new, it just means you got to put in more work and be more patient and understand you're not where the NFL is now. You're at ground zero, right? So you're going to have to go through it and invest 10 years before you have the product that you want. You have to build it again. And you hope that it's fun, and you have to restructure the model. But no, I think there's hope for it, no matter what format you want to go. There's appetite for the Canadian game. We love it. There's a reason it's been around and had so much success. So,
well, you see what I'm saying, though. The Fan Control Football League, I have no idea who these guys are other than Johnny Manziel and Josh Gordon, but I watched it, and it was a riot because they made it all about entertainment. They merged WWE and arena football into one, and it was insane. I couldn't take my eyes off it. NLL, I don't know who these guys are. I didn't know who Ben McIntosh was, or Jeff Shatler, or these stars, Aaron Bold for the Rush. But I'm hooked because it's so much fun. That's what the CFL is going to need to do, no matter where the players are from.
But you know now all those guys. Yeah. And think of this is show business. Think of any television show you've watched, okay? Multiple seasons. Let's talk about Yellowstone. Let's talk about Suits. Let's talk about...
You learned who the characters were, you're saying.
Breaking Bad. No, year one is all entertainment. We're cooking meth. We're branding people. We're doing all these crazy cases.
We're skinning people.
Right? It's all the fun cases in Suits and everything else in year one. But by year two, it's a little less. And by year three, it's more deeper storylines related to the characters. So you start with the glitz and the glamour and slowly start introducing the players, and then it becomes all about those storylines, and your fans start, ooh, really exciting, but then they get hooked, and then they last and they stick with you forever. You have to have that evolution in telling the story.
Marketing your stars.
That's it.
Telling stories of your stars. Anyways, to the text line. Hey, Rod, Ryan here in Saskatoon. What would you think of a potential USHL and AHL model with the BCJ, AJ, and then SJ, MJ? I know it's not what's in the works, but it's something I've been thinking about that could potentially work. That's from Ryan in Saskatoon. Well, from the people that I talked to that gave me the scoop on BC breaking off from the Canadian Junior Hockey League and forming their own thing and taking 4 teams from Alberta with them, this is the model that they're trying to find is the USHL. They know that they're a quality league, and they're losing players to the United States. They don't want to be subject to Hockey Canada's rules. This is exactly why they're doing it. So what you're saying is what they're doing. Metal Shingle Guy writes in and he says, are the Raptors or Jays playing in Toronto now? They are not. The Raptors are playing out of Tampa. The Blue Jays are playing out of Dunedin, and they're going to stay in Dunedin. And frankly, you had Western Canadian Baseball League news today.
Yeah, that they're planning to come back, and now we're not going to see them in every province, but they're going to play with only Canadian players. But they did announce a few hours ago a return to play and a plan for a 2021 summer season.
Right. So, but Jennifer Ellingworth, one of our viewers, just writes in and says the Regina Red Sox just announced no season for 2021. Saw that coming anyway. Can't wait for 2022. We're sitting here in March. We're talking about 2022. So basically, the WCBL is going to play in Alberta.
Yeah.
But all of Saskatchewan wiped out. And I just got to say, what makes the Canadian Football League believe, because they're relying on American players coming up, and all dollars and cents is what makes the world go around. What makes the CFL believe they're going to pull this off? And they're telling players they're going to not only pull it off, but they're going to do it on time. But all these other leagues are shutting down. What have I missed?
The difference with all these leagues, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but we look at WCBL, we're talking about thousands and maybe tens of thousands of dollars, right? You go to the CFL, you're talking about hundreds of thousands to millions. When you get to the NHL, you're talking about hundreds of millions. NFL, billions, right? So the ability to be able to pull this off is a lot different. It's the ability for me being able to, go buy a coffee every day and you being able to go buy lunch every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Money. CFL doesn't have it. So Brady in Saskatoon, hey, Rod, I'm hoping the WHL thinks of a way to have playoffs. Blades are finally good and having nothing to play for. Playoffs are on the table in the dub, but we don't know how that's going to look, nor do they. Metal Shingle Guy says, so the CFL is going to play? Go to rodpedersen.com right now, Metal Shingle Guy, and read what you just saw for the Ultra update. Read it over a couple of times, and you will see that the stakeholders, the people that are actually in the CFL, don't even know if they're going to play. They can't guarantee that they're going to play. So I'm sorry that I don't have an answer for you, but I don't need to answer for the CFL. They need to answer for themselves, and they are not. Football Friday tomorrow. John Frenzy, Brian Baldinger, NFL alum, and Jim Lawson from Woodbine. All coming up at noon Eastern. We don't know what we're doing.